From Fred Phelps to the Kinsey Six. The best of the best from Central Kansas and beyond. We do it all. We are KJAG Radio and the Jiggy Jaguar Radio Show. Log on to jiggyjaguar.com and kjagradio.com for more.
Posting a photograph per day from my archive. Okay? And 2 years ago, the Wax Museum in Dublin was reopening. And poor old Michael fell on the ground.
Oh, it was an omen.
It was an omen. It was absolutely just bizarre. I mean, in the extreme. What's the next one? You probably don't know. This is W.B. Yeats, famous Irish writer from the turn of the 19th century. And what they had a room with all of these waxworks during the construction, protected by the plastic. And it just, everybody working there was just walking around as if this was okay, and I'm going, this is bizarre.
Appreciate you doing this, by the way.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for doing this. How did you get interested in taking photos and doing photography and all that?
I came to Kansas in 1978, and I was given money by my mom to buy a camera. So I bought a 110 film Kodak camera that had a zoom in, out. So the year I was here, I was taking photographs just of the travels. And that's when I realised I had an interest in photography. So it goes back to the year I spent here.
That's cool. Now, social networking and photography, and you talked a little bit about Flickr and things of that nature. How has that changed the photography business over the years that you've seen?
It's made it easier for you to share your photos. Many, many more people can see your photos now because they don't need to see the print.
Yeah.
So it's possible with the likes of Flickr to create a following of some sort and maybe turn that following into purchasers of your shots. Now, it's not a given that that would happen. But that, and also, in fact, I think Facebook is beginning to take over in that way because so many people...
Ton of people are on Facebook.
Yeah. Not necessarily people who are interested in photography, but it's a great way to get to people. Whereas Flickr and the likes of those, while they're very good, they are attracting more serious photographers.
Yeah.
And they don't buy as much as non-photographers, if you know what I mean.
Now, how has technology and photography changed over the years that you've seen? From, you know, the Nikon cameras to, you were talking earlier about little handheld cameras, to the phone cameras, to everything. What's some of the major things you've seen?
Some of the things that haven't changed are, it's still the same. It's still light, it's still a lens, it's still where you point the camera, it takes the shot. So that hasn't changed. But what has changed is the ability for you to go in, well, see the shot instantly, of course, see has it worked, take another one, instead of having to wait a week and realise, oh, it didn't work. So you've got that, which is great. But also, well, the post-processing does bring extra to that. I mean, there are more photographs taken today than were, in fact, I think, where did I hear this? In a matter of a couple of months, more photographs are taken than were taken the sum total of all photographs taken in film days, for example. Like, you know, wow. And on Flickr, do you know what the biggest used camera on Flickr is?
No.
An iPhone.
That's amazing.
Isn't it? So the camera you have with you.
Well, speaking about technology and photography and how it's changed over the years, Kodak recently stopped producing Kodachrome.
Yes.
Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, I was so amazed that the last lab in the world was here in Kansas, producing Kodachrome. It's like, whoa, how cool is that? I'm not terribly concerned. To me, photography is photography.
Yeah.
Film is a method of capturing an image. There's a certain aesthetic with that is difficult to recreate in digital, absolutely. And I have shot some film. I did so during the summer. I'm in love with the image.
Yeah.
I'm less in love with the technology that captures the image. I'm happy that somebody knows how to make that happen for me.
Yeah.
So I personally have a very little time for people who say, "Oh, back in the day, the film." It's photography.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. And if more people can use it, which with digital they can and do, then that's better photography. For
Now,
photographers, I'm concerned.
advice? Do you have any advice to up and coming photographers that are just trying to get started, or they've got an interest in photography and they want to go further with it? Any advice of?
Become good at what you do. But the thing about photography becoming a business is that you've got to be a better business person. There are many poor photographers making money out of photography because they're great at business.
Yep.
So actually being a good photographer isn't necessarily a requirement to be a successful commercial. I mean, obviously you have to have a technical skill. Yeah. But if you think in terms of just social photography, you know, I mean, somebody was telling me that senior photos, $1,600, and a top package is $2,500. Yeah, I'm going, okay, I think I may change what I do.
like get back into doing something like that. Now, you've shown a ton of your different shots tonight. Where are some of the favorite places that you photographed? Rome. Flat out?
Rome, flat out. But that's because I have a deep and abiding love of Roman Roman Empire, all of that classical, Greek to a degree as well, but yeah, and Rome, of course, is where the center of the universe was.
You also told a cool story tonight about using postcards.
Yes.
Go and getting postcards, and give me a little bit more on that.
Well, we want to walk away with a shot that works.
Yeah.
So what better way than to be directed to a place at a time of day? If it says night, if it's a nighttime shot, that's when you go shoot, and then you walk away with, that's mine.
Yeah.
That's mine. But also in the journey to that place, you'll find other things. You'll find maybe a part of the city that you wouldn't find normally because maybe you're just wandering around the streets. Now you have a mission, and you can easily get to more disparate parts of a place because the postcard is driving you there.
Yeah. Now, cameras are becoming so advanced anymore. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing, but the vast majority of people still use their camera on auto.
Yeah.
So it's still there, but what you'll find is that as it goes up, there's less and less people investigating what those bits do. So the cameras are very good on auto. They are trying to save us from ourselves, and they do so very well in the majority of average conditions. As soon as the light level drops, it has a problem then.
Now, you mentioned you went through a little bit of workshop on editing and things of that nature. There's some schools of thought here. There's the editing shots, and then there's people that just take it straight from the camera and upload it to Flickr or Facebook or whatever.
Yep.
What is your opinion of, should they take the extra time to edit things, or should it just be, if I took a good shot and I can see it, send it?
No, my opinion is this: we live in a democracy.
Well, there is that.
And when it comes to creative expression, that is a personal expression, a personal journey. And if it works for you and for nobody else, it still works.
Yeah.
If it's a commercial shot and it works for nobody, you're a very hungry photographer. But if it's a personal expression, then as far as I'm concerned, all things are open.
Now, you mentioned earlier, don't delete any shots.
That's my view.
Don't do it.
Because you never know. Something's going to come along.
Well, there's a lot of people that have, they keep all their shots on their SD cards. And they've got like mountains and mountains of SD cards.
Dangerous.
Is that a good thing, or should you make a backup online somewhere and then have them?
Well, first of all, back up, even locally, onto a hard disk. Yeah. SD cards, CF cards get corrupted.
Yeah.
And if they're corrupted, everything is gone. Well, not completely, because somebody out there is willing to take a lot of money off you to try to recover those cards for you. So you'd need at least one backup, if not two, to be safe. Now,
when you had all these different shots that you put together, what is the hardest shot that you've ever taken that it would just, you're amazed you got it pulled off and you were in the right place at the right time? Or
wow, that's a very good question. I don't know that I've thought of that before. Probably the next one. The next one is going to be star trails.
The next one's going
with
to be
flash on an abandoned house in the middle of the prairies at night time. So
that's cool.
That's going to be the tough one. I hope it'll work.
Oh, that's cool. Well, a couple more questions for you. Appreciate you doing this. Watermarking your work. There's a lot of people anymore that they say there's Picasso and there's all these other programs where you can put a little your name on it. Or I've seen photos where they have like this banner at the bottom of their name and their website and everything. Where do you come down on watermarking?
I don't, because I want people to see my photos, but I also realize that there are bad people out in the world.
Yeah.
They will clone out your watermark and they will use their shot on their website. I put it up online small enough that it can't be printed in a poster, but it can still be taken for a website. I can't stop that. So I don't have the money to chase these bad people through all the high courts and Supreme Courts of all the countries in the world. So I accept it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't lose any sleep over it. But a watermark just stops the person seeing the photograph.
Now, you mentioned something about when you had a Rome shot that you were talking about, and you said something about leaving the shutter open.
Yes.
Expand on that a little bit.
Shutter open.
That was a cool discussion.
If nothing is moving, it doesn't matter what shutter speed you use because everything will be sharp. But if something is moving, then that will increasingly become blurred as the shutter speed is kept open longer.
That's cool.
If that's moving. But the things that aren't moving stay sharp.
That's cool.
So that's juxtaposition of people moving or the light trails that I showed earlier on moving. And just brings an interesting dynamic into a photo.
Well, that's cool. Well, how can people connect with you online?
They can connect online. Facebook is probably the best. Dave McKane Arts. That's McKane. Dave McKane Arts. And right now I'm posting a photo every day for a year from my archive.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea.
With a little history, some sort of background as to what was going on, what I was thinking, and maybe how the shot did work or nearly didn't work or whatever. So
that's cool. Well, I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah.
And
it's like an episode of CSI, isn't it? And there's a room full of these people. Like, it's crazy stuff. Yeah. He actually is a sports commentator on TV, and he's quite aggressive, but he doesn't look it there. Yeah, just shots. Oh no, just sequence. So where are we at? So what we're trying to do, what I'm trying to do, is to walk away with shots that just really, well, they look special to begin with, but there's a certain time when they look really special. But it doesn't always work in your favour. And this scene here, I'll show you a photograph now when I finish this of what it can look like. This is, Dublin is a city of which 2/3 is to the south and 1/3 is to the north, and it's split by the River Liffey, which is a tidal river. So the Irish Sea, which separates us from the UK, is only a couple of miles that way.